All right.
Yo.
Coming to you live from Philly. It's the #1 rated Paulie Tony Fusco Show.
Yo.
As always, Paulie Fusco here with Tony Fusco and Tony. Huge show today. Of course,
let's go.
We're celebrating the Eagles championship. They are the national champs of Brazil, as we mentioned in our Sunday night reaction show, which we'll be doing all season long when we feel like it.
Yeah, when the mood strikes us.
Yeah. Anyway, today, misinformation flying around about the Tyreek Hill arrest. We're going to clear it all up. And scandal in San Francisco swirling around Christian McCaffrey being listed as questionable when he was clearly out. And to discuss this, we're going to bring on a coach who is truly an expert at dealing with questionable players since he coached the Jets and the Browns. So anyway, Coach Eric Mangini will be joining us anyway. All right, a lot to get into, Tony. So let's just get right into our top story.
Top story.
Tons of fallout from the Tyreek Hill arrest. We're going to clear up all the misinformation out there, starting now. You know, first, people said that Tyreek Hill was resisting arrest, but this was clearly a misunderstanding, wasn't it, Tony?
It makes perfect sense why Tyreek Hill stayed in the car when the cop was yelling at him. We all know that as the father of 10 children, Tyreek Hill's not used to pulling out on time. So when the cop said, "You're gonna get pulled out of the car," it was clear Tyreek Hill's never heard the term pull out before, and he got confused.
Great point, Tony. And, you know, people, they're saying the police overreacted. Well, think of the last time a famous NFL player resisted arrest. OJ. There you go. I mean, that had to be right on the top of their mind, didn't it, Tony?
Yeah. See, what happened with OJ, that was resisting arrest. I mean, pull up that chart. This shows yak. Not yards after catch, but yards after cops. Tyreek Hill traveled 0 yards, while OJ traveled 890,000 yards. So when you put it into perspective, Tyreek barely did anything wrong.
Terrific analysis, Tony. And, you know, did anyone think of why Tyreek Hill was going so fast? I mean, first of all, he's just a fast guy. So you got to figure that, you know, what 60 miles per hour to a normal person is like, you know, 4 miles per hour to him.
He probably thought he was going too slow. And, you know, also, you got to consider he was driving a McLaren 720S, which only gets about 5 miles per gallon. That's terrible gas mileage. So you got to wonder if he was trying to get to the stadium as fast as he could because he was probably afraid he was going to run out of gas. Anybody ever think of that?
Great points all around, Tony. And, you know, another thing we got to mention, you got to look at those numbers for the Tyreek Hill Bodycam video. Hundreds of millions of views, bigger than any Super Bowl by a mile.
Wow.
So, you know, you got to wonder if the NFL and all these media companies are sitting there wondering if they should just make pregame shows, body cam videos of players getting stopped and tackled by police on the way to the stadium.
That would definitely be better than watching the CBS pregame show. Well, anything would be better.
That's true. And, you know, may we say in Tyreek Hill's defense here, he did come out after the whole incident and he said, quote, he wants to take this negative and turn it into a positive.
Oh, okay.
Wait, sorry. That was a quote about his girlfriend's latest pregnancy test. Sorry, got that confused.
Yeah, totally. I got confused too.
Yeah, I mean, you could see how.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, let's just move on to another major controversy. The 49ers under fire for listing Christian McCaffrey as questionable before Monday night's game, even though they already knew he wasn't going to play. But, Tony, you know, we actually have to defend the 49ers here, don't we?
We really do, because when you think about it, shouldn't all players be listed as questionable? You don't know what's going to happen to them. You know, they could get injured in practice or they could get hit by a bus. As my grandmother used to say, nothing is promised in this life before she was tragically hit and killed by a commuter train.
Again, my condolences, Tony. And well, also on that subject, we got to send our condolences, of course, to Aaron Rodgers, you know, who had an even more disappointing week one than last year because this time he went uninjured, which means he will now be forced to play for the Jets again this week, this time on the road against the Titans.
Just a terrible development for him. I really feel for him.
Well, speaking of terrible developments, Tony, international political analysts are growing very concerned about November 10th when the NFL will play a game in Germany with a matchup between the New York Giants and Carolina Panthers. Now, according to our sources, government officials are very concerned about this potentially leading to an attack of retribution against the United States. Tony, your reaction?
You know, I am calling on Roger Goodell to avoid this disaster and swap out at least one of the teams.
Yep.
You can send the Eagles there.
Yep.
We'll play the Panthers, no problem.
Yep.
We'll score 70 points and showcase American firepower.
Yep.
You know, the Panthers weren't on our schedule this year, but we're more than happy to accommodate, especially if it means avoiding World War III and nuclear annihilation.
It's the least we could do, Tony.
Absolutely.
And by the way, we don't want to knock the Giants when they're down. You know, we want them to know that all hope is not lost for them this year. You know,
Totally
based
right.
on the 3 touchdown performance of Saquon Barkley in the Eagles season opener, we came up with a terrific idea. As official representatives of the Eagles organization, we're going to launch a new competition just for Giants players. Tell them, Tony.
We're going to reserve one roster spot on the Eagles practice squad next season for the best Giants player this year. This way, the Giants players will actually have something to compete for this season. You're welcome.
Just such a great idea by us, Tony. And
Absolutely.
Oh, by the way, today's show is sponsored by the new movie Reagan, which stars an all-star cast: Dennis Quaid, Kevin Sorbo, Kevin Dillon, Creed lead singer Scott Stapp, and the dad from The Wonder Years. Terrific.
Yeah, if you don't see this movie in theaters, then shame on you, you Soviet pig.
Go see Reagan, now playing at a theater near you. Well, at least for the next couple of days. You know, probably not much longer after.
Yeah,
that, you know.
Liberal Hollywood Studios.
Yeah. Anyway, I see our guests are coming on the line, so let's go ahead and bring them on the Fusco Satellite Network.
Fusco Satellite Network.
All right, well, this guy's back. You know him. He coached the Browns and the Jets. Well, all right, that's all you got to know, really. You know, regular guest on the show. To everyone's dismay. You know, usually we do a longer intro here, but let's just get him in here. All right, Coach, welcome back to the show. Eric Mangini.
Welcome back.
Wow, that was a huge, warm welcome. I really appreciate it. It's kind of how I feel about being back.
It kind of reminds you of being in the NFL, doesn't it?
Yeah,
like that's
exactly.
how they'd greet you on Sunday. Oh, he's back.
Yeah.
You know, just trying to make you feel at home. That's what we do, Coach.
That's what we do.
There you
Very
go.
thoughtful, very thoughtful.
Of course.
All right, let's start with the Jets, your former team there, you know, lost to the 49ers Monday night. How disappointed do you think Aaron Rodgers is right now that he didn't suffer a season-ending injury like he did last year and therefore has to keep playing for the Jets?
That's a pretty ridiculous question, but I would expect nothing less from you.
Smart journalism.
I thought that Aaron Rodgers actually played pretty well considering how long he's been away from football and the questions they had on the O-line.
This is why you didn't make it in the NFL, Coach. Low expectations, Coach.
Look, the first game of the season is challenging no matter who you play because things are so different. Now you're talking about a guy that hasn't played in a long time with a group of guys that haven't played really together at all.
See, this is why you were great, Coach. You knew how to make a good excuse after the game. You're just making excuses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I could have made some excuses for the Eagles last year, but I ran out of them after about,
don't worry.
The number,
We're gonna get to
5,
that.
6, 7 losses at the I lost.
They were
track.
getting ready for the draft, but we'll
we were getting ready for the draft.
We were getting ready for the draft. All right.
Yeah, that's how
And
you
look
know
how
you got to
good the
stay
draft
ahead of the
went.
game, Coach.
Yeah. We
All
were
right,
getting
look,
ready.
Obviously, you want to talk about the big controversy in the game. San Francisco, right? The 49ers listed Christian McCaffrey as questionable, even though they knew he was going to play, right? But, Coach, aren't all players questionable when you think about it? I mean, you never know what can happen.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you could get hit by a bus or something. Like,
Exactly.
Aren't you questionable to be on the show 5 minutes from now?
We don't know. A meteor can hit.
I wish I was doubtful to ever be on the show again.
Don't worry, you are.
Unfortunately,
We
you know,
just updated.
I answered the call. Look, everybody could be questionable, I suppose, at any given day.
See,
But
there you go.
you have to have layers so that people can anticipate what to expect. I think there's a gambling component and a fantasy football component. and that's where those things become frustrating for a lot of people. You guys know about gambling and fantasy football. Fantasy
Of course,
football, you
that
definitely know
leads to
about.
our promo for the new app, Fusco Bet.
Yeah.
Don't forget to download Fusco Bet, where you can bet right now on whether Eric Mangini will make it 2 more minutes on this show.
God, I hope it's less than 2 minutes.
That's the way the betting market looks now. Yeah. By the way, when you were coaching the Browns, though, wasn't every player on the team questionable? I mean, weren't you questionable? Wasn't the whole thing questionable?
Yeah, the whole thing was questionable. We would go into every single week not knowing if anybody was going to play, and then whoever showed up on Sunday, that's who we'd allow to play. And it was a very unique season that way. One of the
That's
first,
the way it seemed to me.
Yeah, one of the first in the
games,
NFL. Questionable is whether or not the Eagles will show up on a consistent basis. That's questionable.
You got to turn it around. Questionable is how you answer questions. You are questionable in how you answer questions.
Also,
you need to be more questionable.
Football's supposed to kind of be like war. So why would anybody send an injury report? When we went into Iraq, we didn't send Saddam an injury report like, General Schwarzkopf has a cold today. He's questionable. We didn't do that.
Great point.
Yeah, that's great analysis.
Thank you.
That's the way the system is set up, to try to give people a little bit of an understanding of who they can anticipate playing and not playing. And as much as it's compared to war, it's still a game as opposed to a
See, you
war.
just didn't take it seriously enough, Coach, and that's your problem.
I just think that there is a pretty big difference between war and football, but you guys don't really operate.
Don't worry, you may wind up dead at the end of this interview.
Yeah, don't worry.
Anyway, so.
We're going to show you exactly. Yeah.
By the way,
here we go. Yeah.
But, I don't want to get too personal here, but, a lot of people, they're talking about the Deshaun Watson contract with the Browns. Which one do you think is worse? The one they signed with him, or the one the Browns signed with you? Which was worse?
Wow, that's a good one. What a zinger! How long did it take you to come up with that one? That is genius.
Almost as long as you were on the team, Coach.
Yeah, right. He just thought of it.
I don't know where to go with that question. Hopefully, Deshaun will figure it out, and there'll be some more production than what we've seen so far.
Yeah, let's talk about that production. Did Deshaun, in your estimation as a former Browns coach, did Deshaun Watson, look a little stiff to you? Like he could use some limbering up? You catch my drift?
Are you volunteering? Like, what are you saying?
No,
there?
Definitely not.
No.
Unless he's in a straitjacket.
No.
If they put him in a straitjacket,
if they
maybe.
tie him, that put restraints.
Right.
Different, but
handcuff him.
Yeah, I'm not sure what his pregame routine is.
What should they do to get out of the contract?
There's nothing you can do. They got to make it work, because it just doesn't go away. Kind of like you guys just don't go away. We all wish you would. But somehow you keep showing up, which is incredible.
Number one, 24 years,
you're
Coach.
The one answering
Number
the
one.
phone,
You're
Coach.
the one, Coach.
You're
But,
the questionable one.
Yeah.
You didn't want to discuss war. Well, get ready, bud.
Get ready.
There's a very concerning situation that should be on everyone's radar. On November 10th, the NFL will play a game in Germany featuring a matchup of the New York Giants versus the Carolina Panthers. How concerned are you, Coach, that this could potentially trigger an act of retribution against the United States?
Yeah, I'm not really concerned about that at all. I would imagine at that point, hopefully both those teams will have things a little bit better figured out than they do right now. We saw the game that just took place in South America. It was a slippery field. I'm shocked all the Eagles defensive players were complaining about how slippery it is. That's kind of their MO, right? But
you're the slippery one, Coach. Brazil national champions. They took
we won the national championship in Brazil,
national championship of Brazil.
After all the complaining about going down there and the 17 turnovers,
we overcame, bro.
Good job. Congratulations.
Thank you. Week one champions already.
What do you get for that?
We're getting a banner, a parade. We're going to Fogo de Chao for, Brazilian steakhouse.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. That'll be a great banner.
You're just jealous because you never won a Brazilian championship.
Okay.
Yeah.
let's talk about Monday night. You know what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Let's put your coaching to the test.
Yeah.
Eagles, Falcons. Okay, we got the Eagles winning by 50, and Kirk Cousins out by halftime. Your prediction, Coach?
I would imagine it's going to be a lot closer than that. I would actually think that. I think the Eagles are going to have their hands full. With
Really?
Yeah.
I really like Vic Fangio, but it doesn't look like all the problems in the secondary have been fixed. And so the Philadelphia Eagles defense is not quite as challenging as what the Steelers was.
No. You know what is challenging is listening to any more of you. Hey, guess what, Coach?
I got
you're
my
about
hands
to beat
full.
traffic because you're off the show.
And you're
Get out of here. Yeah, I got a prediction for you. You're going to be dead by tomorrow.
The show.
Get out of here.
Satellite Network.
Is he off the line?
Jay, hang up the phone.
You know what's questionable, Tony? Our guest booker deciding to have that clown on the show.
Horrible decision.
Yeah. Well, don't let them ruin, which was otherwise a terrific show. Of course, we want to remind you, go see the new movie Reagan.
Go see Reagan, bro.
Hold on.
Someone I don't ever want to see again.
Producer Jay, what do you want?
What?
Corrections.
What?
Go.
You said every player should be listed as questionable on an NFL injury report.
Yeah, bro. You never know what's going to happen.
Yo, true.
That's so stupid. It would totally defeat the purpose of having an injury report.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'm going to update your injury report to dead.
You know what's not questionable? Whether or not you're a virgin.
Oh, good one,
we got
Tony.
him.
Great.
Wait,
That's
What?
it.
What?
You said the Tyreek Hill police video was watched more than the Super Bowl.
Huge numbers, bro.
Big numbers, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the police video only lasted a few minutes. Super Bowl lasts for 4 hours. So that's just a dumb comparison.
Oh, yeah? Well, I would like to ask you to police shut the up.
You know what video also lasts 4 hours? The sex tape I made with your mother. Oh,
good one, Tony.
No.
What? He's still talking. What?
Oh, what?
You said a McLaren only gets 5 miles per gallon.
Totally, bro.
Read Car and Driver, bro.
I did. It gets 15 miles per gallon. Nobody would buy a car that gets 5 miles per gallon.
Oh, yeah? Well, you're going to see a bunch of gallons of gasoline when I pour them on your head and light a match.
Yeah. You know what also got a lot of gallons? Your mother in high school.
Oh, great
you're
one,
done.
Tony.
Let's get out of
Oh,
here.
before we do, breaking news, Tony. Next week on the show, Super Bowl hero, future Hall of Famer Nick Foles will be here. Hey, don't forget, rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts.
Buy all the
5
merch.
stars. Go to the merch store. Buy all the merch. And Tony, great job as always.
Same to you, Paulie. Another flawless show.
There you go. We'll see you people next week.
See ya.